Pine Bluff News, a news source for uncut information about your city. We work for the people. Mayor Debbie Hollingsworth calls for a press conference concerning the renovation of the Merrill Center and Townsend Park. Pine Bluff News covers the story.
Crystal, thank you. We're blessed with a beautiful day to come out and talk about an area within our city that needs so much improvement. An investment in our city that will be an investment for all of our children, and I can't think of a better way to spend our money. With that, I would like to recognize some people in the audience, and forgive me if I overlook, but we do have my pastor from my church, First United Methodist Church, David Fleming, Pastor Fleming. We have Chief Eubanks, Scott Robinson, that's with the Boys and Girls Club, police officers, which I'm so wonderful to have. Let's see, Stephen Mays, our alderman from 4th Ward. We're thanking you to come out for this occasion. And if I've overlooked, Jesse Turner. We have Doug Smith and Jean Payton, who are committee members of the Crime Advisory Commission, and they're doing a wonderful job within our city. So we have got a collaborative effort here of our community and how our community is represented, and we're thankful for that. The Merrill Center has been a vital part of a rich history of Pine Bluff for many years, and we want to make sure that it remains a vital part of our history for years to come. We have a very, very rich history that we're standing on right this moment. And before I started this press conference, I was informed of some more history regarding the battles of Pine Bluff that were fought on this area today. And I think that we need to emphasize that rich history. The Merrill Center will provide a recreational, cultural, social, and a healthy atmosphere for our children. By funding the quality renovations to this historic pillar, the city will be ensuring that our children have a beneficial place to learn and cultivate their skills and talents. They will have an area that will expose them to diversification as far as music, art, whatever their hobbies might be, whatever their areas of interest might be. That can be developed right here, along with social skills and just skills that will provide them the roots and the avenues to prosper and grow as productive citizens. And we as a city need to do that for our children. There has been some misspeculation and misinformation as it relates to the funding of the renovations of the Merrill Center. And at this time, I want to make sure that everybody understands the facts surrounding the Merrill Center. The excess funds accumulated from the 5/8 cents sales tax can provide the funding for the renovations. We today have the money to remodel the Merrill Center and make it a state-of-the-art center. We have that today. We have the funding. I want to make sure that I'm clear with that. The bond projects or the bond fund allows for the financing for all or a portion of the cost for new or improvements to the existing parks and community center facilities. That is written in the bond language that we can use, where the bond language doesn't even speak to the excess funds. That's the funds that we're accumulating today. It doesn't even speak to that. But it does say that we, as a city, need to make improvements to existing centers along with the project of the multi-purpose center. That's what we campaigned on, and that's what we said we would provide to the people of the city. That will happen. That will happen. And let me be very, very clear, the multi-purpose center the citizens of Pine Bluff approved will be built. However, rather than waiting on full funding for the center, where the cost is estimated to be $11.5 million, that's for the multi-purpose center in its entirety. The center itself, along with the aquatic, that's the estimated cost. Well, today, no, we do not have $11.5 million. But through fundraising efforts, we can do that. In time, we can do that. We can make this small investment today for our children and still build a multi-purpose center. So with that task, what we're looking at today is doing it in 2 phases. Phase 1 could be the multi-purpose center, or phase 1 could be the aquatics. We have to decide on which one we need to go with. And that comes from the citizens. Would you prefer an aquatic center, or would you prefer a multi-purpose center first? But it needs to be done in phases, and we can start that as well. When the city acquired the Merrill Center in 1996, there were no renovations made to the structure. We've had the building assessed by the city project manager, and it is structurally sound. We would not be at this point if it were not structurally sound, and it is. We have had it assessed, and we know that the work that can be done on this will bring it up to par, and it will be the state-of-the-art center for our children. In many of the communities our size, when they have voted to build a multi-purpose center, they have done so and have been very successful. But at the same time, they have maintained satellite centers in the communities for the children. That is a win-win situation, and that's the same plan that we want to do today. We do not want our children in this community to try to find transportation to go across town. That's not right. We have got funding that will allow the children in this area to have a center to go to learn, and to keep them busy, and to also allow them to grow in a very healthy way. So all of that can be provided. We can do that as a city. Now, at this point, I would encourage each and every one of you to please contact your alderman and let them know what your thinking is and what you want to have done. They are your voice. But I cannot, to this day and time, think of a better way to spend our tax money than on our children. Yeah. They need it. I think for a good period of time, our children have been neglected. And when you think about our crime rate, when you think about what's going on in our city, just think about what we have spent on them in the past. And I think that you'll have an answer to your question as to why we are where we are today. With that, I'd like to, for a few questions, anybody have? Yes, sir.
Mayor, with this renovation of this place, will this affect the multi-purpose building? That will still be built, correct?
Yes, sir. Absolutely, it will be.
Now, with the money coming from here, how much of a delay will it make for that building? I think that was the problem. They thinking that makes the multi-purpose building way down the line. Will it change the ETA?
No, sir. It will not. It will not. Yes, sir.
What is the? Is there? Is the alderman denying your request? And if they are, why?
No, not necessarily denying. I think when we first proposed the resolution for the budget for this, it was not very clear as to how much would be allocated to the Merrill Center and how much would be allocated to the Townsend Park. So with that, we went back to the drawing board. We had an architect to give us an estimated cost on the Merrill Center by itself, and then we have an estimated cost on the Townsend Park area. So now we've got 2 different numbers that we're going to take back to the City Council members for them to be able to look at and see the costs involved with renovating this area and the cost with Townsend Park. Yes, sir.
After this is, let's say this is renovated, will the multi-purpose building and this both be in operation?
Yes,
so
sir.
there would be two places instead of
Yes,
just
sir.
one. Kind of
Yes, sir.
explain that.
Yes, sir. It will be two places. The multi-purpose center is just exactly that. It will be for everyone. And it will be designed to where senior citizens will be able to use it, young people will be able to use it. It will be multi-purpose, multifaceted. This center is primarily targeted for young males and females from the ages of 10, 11 on up to 16 and 17 years of age. Those are the children that use this center now. And it's used quite a bit, anywhere from 25, 30 to 50 children on a daily basis come here.
And what will happen if this does not get renovated? Is it unsafe, or what would happen?
Well, we think that with the most recent storm and the damage that's done to the roof, we're going to have to make some tough decisions. And the roof alone will be over $100,000 to repair it.
When will you know?
Yes, yes, sir.
Summer's about to start. Are the renovations going to begin during the summer? And if so, will the building remain open? And if not, will the kids have an alternative place to go while the renovations are being made?
Yes, sir. We'll have an alternative place to go. We have spoken to Dr. Watson, and she will provide us with one of the schools during the summer in which we can use that will be located in this area. And as soon as the funding is provided and we receive the cost from the architect, whoever that architect is, because we don't know yet, but as soon as all of that is laid out and we have an actual cost, then that will be taken back to the City Council for them to vote on the project with a cost associated to it. So we're a couple months down the road for that happening, so we really think that it will be after the school year, after the summer's over with.
That was my question. When do you think that when will they have a chance to vote on it and make the decision? So in a couple of months?
Well, we're going to take the resolution back to the City Council this coming meeting, which I think is May the 6th.
Okay.
And the resolution will have the two different amounts so that they can vote on a scope, a budget for an architect to be able to go and start looking at it to provide actual cost. Okay. So we're still in the budgeting phase of it. Okay. Once the architect determines the actual cost, then that will go back to the City Council for them to vote on it. So we're talking several months here.
So basically this is just a push to try and get City Council to vote to have this renovated for these children.
To vote on just a budget, not an actual cost.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
As far as the money that's being discussed, budgeted specifically for the Merrill Center, do you know if it's targeted all towards construction, or is some of it being set aside or talked about being set aside for curriculum, supplies, payroll, things like that?
No, sir. Strictly, yes. Strictly structure. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, now you made a statement saying that you brought it before the City Council and they turned it down because there was not enough information in it. So you have the information for us, the finance, or how the finance is going to be funded, and if so, where are we looking to bring those certain people in to renovate the Merrill Center? Are they going to be?
We're going to build some big pavilions, like manly size pavilions, and move all the playground equipment closer together. So if you go out there and have a family reunion, your children are all close to you. ADA compliancy, which means everything will have a sidewalk to it. There'll be parking, new street, curb, gutters. A lot of that's included in this project. Some of that's coming from the street funds.
Townsend Park. Townsend Park. Yes, sir. And we've already, we have an estimated cost for the Townsend Park as well, as to where it will be spent, how it will be spent.
I got one question. I work at this house. Go ahead.
Yes, there are 2 restrooms there, but they will also be restrooms included in the concession park. And that will be on the side of the park where the ball fields are. Right now, they have to go across the street to use the restroom.
One thing most people talk about, fencing and security. I because I work at the park one time in town. Raising in the park. Balls come on and go and take each other. Is there any chance of
Fencing would
would be raised to like 8 or 9
Yes, sir.
I work for Renovation.
Yes, sir.
It's about to be closing. Today they're going to have a meeting at 3 o'clock on what is going to be done with that structure. Maybe there's something that we can do to idolize for us to gain something.
We've got two, Dr. Watson and I have been discussing that. We've got 2 schools of thought on Greenville. So it'll be, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't know those were even on. Oh, well. We've got 2 schools of thought, so we're going to see which one will be the most beneficial for the children and the community. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
You stated earlier that you can't determine right now who the architect or who the contractor will be, but will there be a push for them to hire local labor?
Absolutely. Yes. 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 Absolutely.
Just because he mentioned it, who was the architect that did the estimates?
Fred Reed.
Fred Reed?
Yes, sir. He's very familiar with the facility.
And that was pro bono.
Yes. Yeah, we didn't pay anything for it. Anybody else?
Can we kind of, does he have any paperwork as far as what he did, and is that public record?
Paperwork as far as
As far as,
goes?
what he's looking as far as renovating, what his plans is, what their plans is for as what they seeing and think needs to be done.
We've got a rough estimate on it. Yes.
As to what needs to be done and what they're planning to be done, is that public record? Can be.
Well,
Can
it's
you
a
make?
little early.
Okay.
It's just a little early right now.
Okay. Are you planning on making that available?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yes. Anybody else? I just want to thank each and every one of you. Your attendance shows your passion and concern for our children. And we did have 2 alder persons to come up during the press conference, Alderwoman Walker and Alderman Bill Brummett. We thank you for being here very much. Where's Chris? Okay, I didn't see him.